Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are going to be reviewing feedback and responses from you, the community, who participated in the most recent COD questionnaire that we did on the Discord, which is about your thoughts and feelings on the eventual change that will be coming about hero levels and the seasonal resets that will no longer be a thing. So you're not going to have to sit there and grind hero EXP and levels anymore season to season. The way that it currently works now is when heroes reset per season, they'll reset to level 30 if you have them at level 30 or above. But eventually that's not going to be a thing anymore. So I thought it would be nice because I did a video talking and sharing my thoughts, but I really wanted to hear what you thought, the community. And so I always appreciate anyone that participates. Again, if you want to get a link to these or participate in these in the future, you can join the Discord. Link to that in the pinned comment description down below. You'll just simply go to reaction rules, fourth from the left on Call of Dragons, and then you'll see the COD questionnaire there. So before we get started, as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you throw us up because it helps out a lot. So let's go. I think we only have 4 questions here, so it's not going to be too deep. Number 1. Do you agree with the eventual upcoming change where hero levels will no longer be reset? 76% of the vote voting for yes. They do like the change. 10% voted no, and 14% were a maybe. I feel like this was pretty much a given. Now, there are 2 sides to how you feel about hero level resets, and I do think there's pros and cons to keeping it versus removing it. As I mentioned in the previous video where we debuted it, we saw the announcement, and I gave you my thoughts, I was leaning a little bit more in favor of them removing it because I just felt more long-term benefits. However, not everyone may feel that way. And so let's go ahead and dig into number 2. So which groups of players will this eventual change benefit the most, right? Now, again, we do give people an opportunity to clarify this in one of the later questions, but you could see 28% of the vote felt that this change will benefit free-to-play players. The second most, which is 22%, felt that this would benefit high spenders. 8% for everyone, and then 8% for mid spenders. Then, what the reason is, realistically, this benefits everyone. It allows us to test other commanders and use new stuff besides what is just the meta. Everyone wants to be able to play more heroes, test new combos, etc. Whales already have many ways around stamina anyways. We'll just read a couple of these. All lazy players are busy people. Some of these answers, man, you guys kill me. I think this will benefit all categories. Honestly, everyone will benefit. It was the most awful grind no matter T4 or T5. It'll benefit both high spenders, Krakens, because they won't have to level up all their heroes. It will benefit also players who play from time to time and don't want to be bothered living. Well, interesting. Or sorry, leveling. Living, I was going to say, man, that was deep. Just really hitting people IRL. All players, this benefits... Oh, wow, it's a long one. This benefit players based on playtime as opposed to budget, in my opinion. Some low spenders play efficiently, study to get an edge on spenders, but this would no longer be possible. Some spenders put in money but don't have the same time as others, so this would benefit them as well. It definitely rewards those who don't have as much availability, more casual, and will feel like a punishment to those who play lots because they will no longer have anything to spend that time on to get an edge on the competition. So I think what this person's referring to is based on every season resetting, right? If you grind a lot, right, and you're very active, you can mitigate it to an extent as far as how long it's going to take you. But as we all know, once you get higher and higher up in level and you get higher and higher up in tier units, you will eventually get to a point where you are going to be able... Oh, that's okay. She's good. You'll eventually get to a point where you will be able to level up your heroes faster. It's like leveling your heroes up when you're T3 compared to T4 and T5, compared to having enough troops to fill out a march. Right, all of those things compared to upgrading your tech, investing in VIP, etc. All of these things are going to factor into you having a stronger march, hitting harder, which means you'll be able to hit higher level Darklings earlier in new seasons, which means that you'll be able to level up these heroes a lot faster. See, that would have been one thing I really would have loved to do, would have been to ask people, on average, how long did it take for you to level up 5 heroes to 60 from season to season? If you were a free to play, low, mid, high spend, that would have been interesting because then we actually would have had like some TIMs, or as we call them, time and motions in the biz, right? So how long does it take you on average? Then we get high. Wow, this is a long one too. Man, you guys are just writing paragraphs here. High to mid spenders, more heroes skilled, giving them an advantage, but once leveling is removed, packs from meeting the level threshold will no longer appear, slowing the progression of starting up those heroes. Medals will now be a lot harder to obtain. Free to play, low spend. I think this will level the playing field between the different spending categories, as the removal of leveling packs will slow the mid to high spenders progression. Casual players will probably benefit the most, as they will not have to worry about missing a few days due to busy schedules IRL to try to get their heroes leveled up. I believe this will help with player retention in the long run. That being said, CP farming will not go away, as there will still be a grinding aspect for prestige, arcane dust level policies, and artifacts. I think this is a good point too as well. I mean, you think about how many people get introduced to the game season 1, they really enjoy it, they love it, and then only to come to find out once they hit season 2, whoops, all your heroes are reset, and you have to restart that grind all the way over. Right? And I think that's more for the people who aren't like hardcore, really heavy active free-to-plays, or people that are okay spending money, even if they're not able to grind hard, because they feel like, okay, that can kind of balance that out. But for the people who are kind of average, or the casuals, as you say, right, that can feel like a really big detriment, because now you have to re-level them back up, at least in that one area. Okay. Is there more? Oh my God, you guys are okay. Good. Okay, good. This isn't that long of one. I do believe it has its benefits for all. The only problem is it is one less thing to do. Look at artifacts; they made it harder to level up, but I still have plenty of them to level. Also, you will have new heroes to always play the grind. The tricky part, which is always there, is keeping the COD identity, as they really need to add new fresh events. Yeah, I think the events and just kind of more things to do in daily tasks. And we're going to do a questionnaire on that too as well, which is on average, how long does it take for you as a player to finish your dailies, and how much time are you investing in the game on a daily basis to where you actually feel like you're getting something out of it, right? Where you're progressing your account, you're getting rewards, those kinds of things. Because I think that would actually be a really good study to do. Next, let's get to number 3. How do you feel about your heroes resetting every season? 42% says do not love it. We have 32% says on the fence, which is kind of 50-50. 10% says I love it. And then we have a number of others, right? I hated it as free to play because I was always low on CP, but whales were always higher level than me. I like the possibility to reset talent, but not the same daily EXP grind. Was good at the starting season, but with more hero and lack of CP, it started to make sense to not reset heroes. I hate it. It was fun the first couple times. Now it's just annoying. And I think that's kind of been a general consent too as well that we've been hearing from a number of people, right? Is that, you know what, hey, this was cool because it was a little bit different than Rock and other Kingdom builders. Not to say all, because Lord of the Rings Rise to War has a reset, and I'm sure a few other titles in the genre do as well. But again, we know that a lot of people were coming over from Rock. A lot of people came over from Infinity Kingdom that I knew when I came over from IK. And so, you know, those just weren't things in those two games. I would say on the fence, because we don't know how, if they would be proposing some other grind to replace needing level heroes when it came to artifacts but being reset. I agree with the change, but there also feels like it cheapens the feeling of having a max level hero artifact. Removing the grind means less players will have a reason to have the game open, which in my opinion starts to kill chats and activity in most alliances during early parts of the season. I mean, I think if you look at games like Rock and IK, I don't think that was ever, at least from what I saw, I don't think there was ever an overwhelming thing that you saw being talked about in either of those games where it's, oh, hey, all my heroes are max level. I'm not going to log in and engage in chat all of a sudden. That doesn't mean that people may not feel that way. But to say that that is a massive or a big enough reason to be something that can stand alone as its own explanation for why you might be seeing decreased activity in a large scale, I just don't know. I don't know if we're really seeing that. Of course, I'd be curious if anyone feels that way. Let me know. Was fine to begin with. Now it got old trying to level up heroes. Doesn't really matter. I'm using the CP anyways. Okay. So here we go. Now we're going to get into some actual feedback. So this is, how do you feel about the changes coming? Would love to hear your feedback. I love to hear that my time has not been useless. Okay. Migration cost is my main concern. Really afraid people left behind are going to pay an insane amount of money to get back with their friends. A lot. It didn't make it due to server cap. Yeah, we'll definitely have to touch on other stuff too as well. I probably should have said the reset changes, so I feel like that's probably my own fault because I just figured, hey, this is what the questionnaire is about. But people are bringing in migration. Whoever you are, I will find you. Just ruined the entire script. I'm just joking. Let's continue. No comment. That person ruined the entire screen. No. To be honest, the grind to get your heroes up is tedious, but it's also what has given me the edge for example, be competitive as a low spender in behemoth raids. Now it'll be easier for pay-to-win players to Mega March and destroy Assault. Would be nice. Home Kingdoms should have been added day one, but I'm glad they're at least adding it in general. No longer having hero resets also makes the game a lot more enjoyable, as in that is one less annoying thing to do every season. Also, having shorter seasons makes the game better for everyone. So overall, I think these changes were very much needed, and I think the future is brighter for this game than it was a month ago. Okay. I'm tired of training over and over again, of not being able to try new combos. It was fun the first couple seasons, and we had a little amount of heroes, but now it's become a little pointless in my opinion overall. I don't think it will be too impactful, to be honest, but more like quality of life change. I actually tend to agree with this for the most part. And this is a really good point here where it says being able to try out new combos. Like the fact that because you don't have heroes at max level, at least for those that are able to field a full march or multiple full marches, right? It's nice to be able to say, well, okay, I can now try and do some testing with other heroes compared to just kind of falling back to the first two that I leveled up for my main march or the first four that I did for my first two marches. Now you have a little bit more flexibility. However, it needs to be implemented at the same time. Just a few more minutes. A few more minutes. As a time opportunity to select skills to upgrade, since the level reset was the only way to select skills. If heroes don't reset anymore, then you can't block last skill anymore if you failed and 4-star the hero. I mean, okay. I like it for the most part, but do not like the changes pushing us to kill our troops and to do more RSS killing. They need to also fix the diligence policy, as people have left the game after getting zeroed in that scenario. Man, I've heard some stories. But once again, why is the feedback here not about hero level resets? That's the whole point of the forum. I'm going to cry later. In my opinion, they should reset, but if the level 30 is still not enough, reset them to level 50, and regarding to PvP, EXP, make it only above 55, 56 level. Taking away the hero resets will take away progression, activity, and players coming together to do Darklings in groups. Also, even though small spenders have more CP because of the season pass and monthlies, this will benefit more the free-to-play because they're active and just level up 1 to 2 marches, whereas whales, they are full CP most of the time because they don't care. Just what do you mean they don't care? Shots. They will get PvP XP later, and they also level up 4 to 5 marches at the same time. So this was benefiting low and free-to-play players. From my experience, I always saw free-to-plays and low spenders with higher level heroes than whales. I personally like the hero reset change with the seasonal talents and how they give you the option to play a different play style. Having more hero options for your marches would be better in my opinion, especially if you decide to reset the talents and go a different route. I'm in favor of resetting to level 1. I was already against resetting to 30, plenty of reasons. Starting the season with level 1 heroes means we start out with plenty of options early game, and as season progresses based on the enemy and map, players need to decide what heroes to level. So we have many at the start, a few at the end. Oh wow. Oh, it's like the whole thing. Oh, I see. So we have many at the start, a few at the end. This gives a level of skill and player choice. Level many, but not so high, or few, and bring them to 60. Also, the argument it's so grindy is flawed. We can spend the CP anyway. The average free-to-play low and possibly mid-spender won't have more than 10-ish heroes they want to level. Not resetting heroes essentially benefits high spenders who have all their heroes maxed out and artifacts to go with that. Bring them back to level 1. Stop removing skillful mechanics from the game to cater to the top % of players. Okay. I can definitely see it a bit from this side as well. This change will be good, both good and bad, but I'm slightly leaning towards good. It would be nice to not spend so much time trying to level up your hero. I also think that they should add some sort of mechanic where you can reset a hero if you're choosing a level 1. Interesting. The way it changed should be increase the EXP given in a season. Hate garrisons, flags, and 4. We don't need more way to kill the troops than to ourselves. The season reset allowed players to use their activity as an advantage on players who were less active. Optimizing CP recovery with Rune. Never let CP being completely full to not waste it. Use 1 or 2 march in group to grind max level on best marches ASAP. Participate in early PvP to make XP ASAP. High spenders, less active, would be advantaged and most active free-to-play. Low spenders would lose something that allowed them to catch up a bit in early season. Okay. I think it's great. A lot of players complain about all top players using the same pairings of heroes, but having to level heroes every season, especially with the seasons being shortened, it kind of pigeonholes players into a certain path and doesn't allow for the opportunity of experimenting with non-meta pairings. It's a good point. It kind of is a little bit more of a detailed or explanation compared to what someone said above that. I think the upcoming changes will serve more pros than cons to the overall experience when playing this game. People in Rock never advocated, to my knowledge, for their commanders to reset each KVK. They loved and still love them being max level, and you said it yourself, NASTi. The end game is when the true fun begins, and our heroes not losing levels will only allow for you to play, especially to enjoy what was late game fighting each season much more quicker. Yes, whales will have more marches, but every bad reasoning for this not to happen can also be said for Rock in some ways. It's a good point. I see where he's coming from. And we alluded to that as well before, earlier in the video, where we talked about Rock and IK don't have that. I think it's a good thing. I hate having to farm dragons all season just to level my heroes up to fight a week or two tops, and then have to go do it again the next season. I would like if they allow us to reset heroes kills for free. Okay, the resetting of heroes levels has made countless players quit the game. It was an interesting concept, but if we don't want the game to atrophy to the point where it's dead, we need hero levels to no longer exist. I like them. It's not super fun grinding those levels back. Very repetitive. Great change, should have happened long ago. 90% of the players in my community hated this. Anything that can still streamline fights for objectives is a win. Resets are annoying. I think it's a great idea as people are bored leveling up heroes on the end. I don't know, not sure yet. The reset was a bit grindy, but it gave something to do during what is usually a boring part of the season, and it really did put people on a more even playing field. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. I'm very pleased to see this feature added. The growing roster of heroes was going to make it impossible to level them up to 60. Older generation heroes are losing a lot of value since they are weaker than newer heroes, and with the level reset, it just doesn't make sense to level them up. I see this change as a step in the right direction. Love it. We'll save a lot of unnecessary grinding. I would love to see skill lock and cheaper skills resets. Okay, so I'm going to stop here, but I will be providing a link to this, so if anyone wants to go through it, if you want to read the feedback, I will have a link to this in the description, maybe the pinned comment as well, but at least the description of the video. And yeah, would love to hear your thoughts, right? Do you agree? Do you disagree with some of the points that were made? Do you find some of them valid? Did you read some and say, man, that's actually like thinking a little bit outside the box. I didn't really consider that. Would love to hear what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below. That's going to do it for me. As always, until next time, I'll catch you all later.